To help examine the costs, consequences, and credibility of Reform UK's economic policy, we're joined from London by Republican commentator Nora Lee Notzon. Welcome to In Focus, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Nora, let's start off by asking about the Financial Times' characterization that we're seeing another Liz Truss moment when it comes to Farage's unfounded pledges.
I think first we need to look at what we're seeing under the Labour government with Prime Minister Keir Starmer. So, what the Labour government has done is attack employment, attack entrepreneurs, and attack education. You have a 20% VAT tax on education, which has driven many families out of the UK, with entrepreneurs and with the change in the non-dom status and now instituting inheritance tax globally, we were driving out one millionaire every 45 seconds, record numbers. And that's been an absolute drain on innovation, on growth, and on spending, because these are people who hire and employ a lot of people within the UK. And then with employment, with their tax on national insurance, that has basically been a big tax on business. And what we see is no growth and driving the people who produce out of the UK. So Nigel Farage has come along. He is somebody who is very authentic. If we remember, he was instrumental in the Brexit campaign and getting the vote leave. Part of that campaign was that the UK could be able to compete on tax and be a Singapore of sorts here in Europe. As we know, lots of European countries compete on tax. So what Nigel Farage wants to do is he wants to get back to basics. He wants to stimulate growth. He wants to incentivize the people who take risk, who build new companies, who spend money to stay in the United Kingdom. And he also believes in family, community, and country. And he's really taking a page out of the populist movement that we've seen in the US. And this resonates with the masses in the UK, which is why you've seen the huge surge in reform and its success in the recent elections.
Well, like you said, this is something that's quite popular in the UK right now. Like the proposed
Yes.
hike in personal tax allowance is very popular, but costs up to £80 billion a year. How does that align with the goal of fiscal responsibility?
I think fiscal responsibility is very important, but we have to get back to basic economics. You're going to have nobody to tax under the Labour government if you drive everybody out of the UK, which is what you're seeing, a big excess of talent, brains, entrepreneurship out of the UK, no growth. And that's no good for anybody. What Nigel Farage wants to do is stimulate that innovation, that risk capital coming into this nation and creating jobs for people. And the more people that you have here that are working, that are spending, the more tax revenue we'll be able to have. So I don't agree with the characterization of fantasy economics or the numbers that are being thrown out by the Financial Times.